Hello and welcome to Mind Your Mind podcast. Here in Mind Your Mind podcast, we talk about life, mind, engineers, everything and nothing at all. And we do that in an open, undisturbed, unscripted, unprepared way. So my name is Ozan and I am with Henna. Hi, Henna.
Hello, Ozan, and hello, everyone listening to us. Yes, we talk about life, mind, universe, everything, and yet nothing. And today we have a topic which is slightly different because it's not. It is about life, but it is not something that we usually think about. It's a thing that is contrary to how we think about. It challenges a perception. Uh, it is about the joy, the art, and the power of receiving. Because we have always been thinking about, giving as a more superior thing to do. Giving as giving has was all is always put at a higher pedestal. A giver is always considered superior to the receiver. But unlike how we think, we are going to bust this myth by talking about how both giving and receiving go hand in hand. They are beautifully interconnected, and no one is complete without the other.
Mm,
So, are you excited for this topic, Ozan?
Me too. Me too. Honestly, I have huge issues receiving. So,
I think all of us have because we
yeah,
have this myth surrounding this receiving aspect that it makes us more vulnerable, it puts us at the edge,
yeah,
and it makes us feel obliged towards the receiver.
yeah.
You have to
You feel
return the
smaller, you
favor.
feel less, you feel like you owe something in return. And of course, like there's
Yeah,
also side that do you deserve it or not, or what do you have to do to deserve it? I think all of them, I think, learned, some of them coming from trauma, some of them coming from just learn things like you have to deserve things or you have to give things in return of receiving and how much you need to give, how much you need to receive. This balance,
hmm.
honestly, for me, it's a little bit messed up. So I'm looking forward to hearing what you think. What is the art of receiving?
Right, right. So, honestly, it's not a favor that a giver does to a receiver. There's a difference between receiving and merely taking something. Uh, Receiving, I would say, is a more active process, whereas taking is a more passive process. Uh, when you are at the receiving end, you are actually, in a way, indirectly giving the giver also a gift by receiving well, by receiving with grace. Because imagine you give something to someone, be it an advice, be it a gift, be it a criticism, be it a feedback, be it a compliment, anything. When you're giving someone something and the receiver is passive towards it, doesn't receive it well, would you really enjoy the process of giving? No,
That's a
we
good way
won't.
of looking at it.
Yeah, I mean, it will make us feel empty from inside. We'll be like, I mean, this didn't work out well. Like, you'll never give again. Whereas if a receiver is actively receiving things, uh, is fully present in the moment and being vulnerable to you without any baggage, you would enjoy the process of giving and you would want to give more. So I think more than saying a thank you, it's about expressing that gratitude. Of course, saying thank you is one thing, one can say it for the sake of it. But there's an energy exchange between the giver and the receiver, which automatically represents a thank you from a receiver. And that, I think, is the energy that a good receiver puts in. So if you are a good receiver, you are already a giver.
I love that one. Actually, okay, we are how many minutes are we in? And I have already an insight right now. No, but I have been on the giving end that the receiver doesn't receive. It can be really frustrating. It can like
Hmm,
destroy the whole experience because like when you're giving, you eventually want to receive as well. You want to receive that satisfaction, that happiness that the receiver receives it well.
right.
And you're giving back to the giver like this by receiving it well, which is
Hmm.
that's a good concept.
Yeah, I mean, a giver is incomplete without a receiver. Both the roles balance each other so beautifully, uh, that there is this power in receiving as well. Of course, there's power in giving because you are you are being generous, you are being selfless, you are being kind, but you're not obliged to be that without the need. Like if you are being kind to someone, uh, in most probability that someone has earned that kindness. It's not that you're being kind for no reason. There has to be something in that person to receive that kindness. So that person
Mhm.
has earned that. So I think we as receivers sometimes feel inferior, that we feel indebted towards the giver, that it's like we have to return the favor because they have been kind to us, or we have to give them something back because we owe them. But it's actually not true. Like when you receive fully, when you receive as a complete person who is satisfied with themselves, it is already a very powerful exchange, and it is already balanced out. So yeah.
What is what is challenging for me to get this thought sitting is not I think the intention of the giver is not always so clear. Like not in
Hmm.
every relationship people give because they want for your happiness, but sometimes they give because they want something in return or there is a hidden agenda. And I know I'm from Turkey, so like I'm
Mhm.
culturally drawn to making that kind of conclusions, especially for someone who I don't know well. I'm not very
Hmm.
comfortable with. I think my brain automatically don't doesn't trust anybody. I put them in a place where like, do they want anything in return? Is that
Hmm.
why?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
will I owe this person something? Will they ask something in return? You know what I mean?
All of us are somewhere selfish by nature, and this is a selfish world. Let's accept it. Nobody would give you something just because you need it or just because you have earned it. They would always find, there will always be something in their mind that they will get it back. But let's put the material thing aside. Let's talk about giving a compliment to someone. Do you think that they would want a compliment again, back? Like, if I say you look good today, am I saying this because I want you to say that I'm looking good too? Not always. Sometimes it's just purely from the heart, and this is how it is meant to be received as well. And sometimes the thing that you're giving is a criticism, uh, a feedback, a, a proper feedback which helps the other person to grow, move forward. Will that have a hidden agenda to it? I don't think so.
No, I
Always.
mean, I think especially when it comes to compliments or the feedback, whether it's constructive or positive, it's more, I see them like gifts that you give to someone, that your objective view, because that is a very valuable thing to have, someone telling you something objectively, whether it's good or whether it's bad, because you sometimes don't see that. So I take it as a gift when someone does that, even if it's really harsh. And
Hmm.
I mean, usually they are for the good of people. The more honest it is for the good of people, the
Hmm.
more valuable it is for you.
Right. So okay. So I was just thinking, like if my boss gives me a feedback, uh, on, let's say I'm performing poorly, and my boss calls me and tells me that, you need to improve on this thing because this is a critical thing for us. Now, this has an undertone of not selfishness, but it is actually both. It is for my personal growth, it is also for the growth of the company, the well-being of the team, the progress, the overall progress of the team and the organization. So this feedback is actually not very selfish, but it also has a personal agenda to it. It's not just purely for me. Like, uh, if my boss says that, you need to improve on this thing, he or she is making me improve on it because it somewhere impacts them indirectly, because as a team we are not moving forward because this is acting as a barrier,
But
and
on
as
the
an
other hand,
organization is
o- o-
hampering the.
yeah, but I would say on the contrary, that's actually a very positive thing, because I have seen a lot of cases myself where people
Hmm.
don't get feedback and they don't even know that they are doing not enough in some areas, and they're eventually
Hmm.
just fired out of nowhere, and they're shocked that they are fired.
Hmm.
I would rather sit down and someone telling me you're not doing enough or you're not doing good, because then they give
Exactly.
you a chance. But they give you a mirror to you. They give you a chance. They tell you exactly how they see you before taking any action. That is,
Exactly. And that is how you are being a good receiver, by asking. You're participating in the activity. You are actually being an active receiver because you are giving the giver a chance to give.
mhm.
So I think asking is something. Yes, we need to talk about asking a little more, because is it not how the universe also works? When we pray and specifically ask for things, there is a higher chance of them getting answered, because we are being so specific about it. We are actually cutting down on the effort that the giver would have to otherwise put in. When you're specific, you are asking for something, the giver knows exactly what you need, the giver knows exactly what you desire, and they would have less trouble in talking to you, in meeting your needs, and it would be an easy process to give. You're putting them in a very comfortable spot when you're
You
going
don't
and asking
burden
yourself.
them with the need
Right.
to figure
Yes.
out what is your need,
Right.
so you help them along the way. It's true, but still, it is, isn't it like putting you a little bit under when you ask for something?
That's how we think. I think that's a very good point you have made here, that we believe asking is is making us weak, but actually it's a very active thing to do. It is, you are in a way doing a favor to the person who has to give you something. You are helping them. If we look at it this way, asking is a very powerful thing to do. It is setting a clear boundary, it is giving clarity on both sides, to you as well as the giver, and it is making the whole process so much more easier. If we look at it this way, I think we would be more specific in asking for things than just expecting them, because we all have expectations. We only a few of us put them in words.
But then there is the risk of rejection when you ask for something.
And if you are not asking, there is a greater risk of not being given that thing. Isn't that true?
True. So basically, you make a choice between very high likely chance of not receiving versus I don't know how many big chance of rejection. I think rejection for me, the fear of rejection is more emotional response that I tend to avoid and go to the
Hmm.
just not receiving part directly. And I can see
Right, right.
how limiting this belief is.
Yes, because I told you, I've been practicing Nichiren Buddhism. And there is this teaching in Buddhism that, I mean, when we pray to the Gohonzon, when we chant in front of the Gohonzon, the which is like a which is like God to us, uh, we are when we are chanting for something, we need to keep that in mind. Maybe write it down that this is my determination and this is what I'm striving for. Writing down means asking for it. It means you're being specific about your needs and your desires. And this is how all manifesting techniques work. All Anywhere you go and you read about the process of manifestation, I think everywhere it says that you should write down what you want. Be specific about what you want. Ask for it, and the universe will give it to you.
Hmm.
So it doesn't put us at a weak spot. I think it is putting us at a more um, responsible spot. It puts us at an active, we are participating in our lives. We are clear about the things we want. We are actively participating in the process of exchange, or in the process of receiving that thing. And and we are increasing the probability of it to be answered.
You're working with the universe, collaborating with the universe, and helping the things unfold.
Right. Otherwise, like, you have to accept what you get.
Sounds positive. You get what you get. I mean, I do believe in level of like you don't always know what you need. You know, what you want is always not always what you need. So there
I
is a
agree.
level where you need to let go of some desires, especially, and let the universe unfold. But I agree in the sense that you need to meet the universe halfway and let them know what's your desires, what do you want in life, because those might be coming from deep inside you. That's that help you push and ask for some specific things.
Right.
And when we
Right.
don't ask, I can see that sometimes we are going against that. And inaction is a limiting behavior, but it's also like inaction is going against the flow of the universe because the universe wants to flow, but you're resisting it by not asking for it or not accepting to receive it.
Right. And isn't that also a mark of your self-belief that you know what you want. You're clear about it. That puts you at a spot that you're confident about yourself, and you have very clear goals to meet. You know yourself well, and I think that's a very attractive thing. You are making yourself attractive to the giver, be it the universe, be it a person, anyone. You are earning it because you are making yourself attractive.
Yeah. So basically you help the navigation progress of the universe, that you take the lead and you show the intentions and you show what you need. It's like a kid, no? Like I mean, like if you have a
Hmm.
kid, someone who cries all the time and whatever you do just won't stop crying and won't stop
Yeah.
screaming,
And you
or some
don't
of them,
understand. Yeah.
yeah, versus someone who communicates their needs to you. It's a complete
Right.
different
It's
thing
it's a
that,
healthy
yeah,
communication. Right, right.
it's,
I
it's
think yes,
two-sided.
that's a good example.
Yeah. So it's two-sided relationship that we must have with both with the receiver and the giver. If we are in a giver position, if we are in the receiver position, that
Hmm.
that we also help the giver, because you know
Yes.
how good receiver can be if they communicate and openly ask for things and accept them.
Right. And in a way, you are also portraying to the giver, be it the universe or anybody else, you're you're portraying that you are satisfied with yourself, with your authentic self. You are just looking to make yourself better. You are completely confident and happy with how you are, but you do have certain things, like who doesn't? There are certain things you lack, and you're asking for them. That makes you a very confident person, an active participant in the process of receiving. And that's how, when your prayers get answered, or when your needs get fulfilled, when your desires get fulfilled, that's how you also ooze out that confidence by receiving gracefully. When you receive those things, you automatically have created that space of self belief, where you are not more anymore indebted to the person who has given you things, because you asked for them and you got them,
Hmm.
because you earned them. So there's no chance of any debt or weakness or obligation there.
You deserve it by asking,
Right. Actually, you deserve by knowing and then
knowing.
asking.
I like that. I mean, when you look at it, like when you're giver, you eventually want, like, everybody like craves pleasure, and we avoid pain, right? So whatever we do, we want pleasure, and we want the receiver to be happy. Basically, that's what we
Hmm.
want out of this transaction, because that gives us pleasure. And if the receiver receives it, happiness and content, an appreciation, that gives you pleasure. Therefore, that is a lot of things in return, that satisfaction and that seeing that. And once we don't get that, then it's a little bit pain. It's a disappointment. So the more you are willing to accept and receive, then the more you will receive because you're giving people pleasure by receiving it. The more you ask, you're helping them, which also gives them pleasure because you give chance to them that they know exactly what will make you happy, what will make you satisfied.
Hmm. And I know that here I'm sounding like someone who has figured it out all. But actually I am still practicing all these things. I'm really trying hard to be a good receiver. I am not even halfway there. Uh, these are just things that I have started to believe in because they do have evidence. Uh, and these are things that I'm starting to practice because now I feel the importance of these things. Uh, because I have always been that person who feels the need to be good to others to an extent that I forget or deny my own needs. I have always been that person, and I know that doesn't really help. It all it does is it exhausts you. And people pleasing is something that I am guilty of. uh, I've always been a people pleaser in my life, and I don't know why, because it has never really helped me. All it has done is made me less confident about what I want, how I want. It has all made me more clouded. It has made me more.
That you suppress your desires most of the time because you
Yes,
put
yes,
others first. And that becomes a
yes,
habit. Therefore, like what you would normally think about is always suppressed. So you don't even think about it anymore. Your own needs sometimes that you
right.
just gets
I feel
crumbled
that.
upon.
Yeah, because there is an innate belief. There has been always an innate belief that uh, whatever good has to come my way will find a way. And I think that's a very passive approach. I now feel that it's a very passive approach um, because I am when I am not taking responsibility of my own self, of my own needs, how can I expect someone else, or even or for this reason even the universe, to take responsibility of me? I think what others would really want to see would be me actively participating in my own destiny. And that would make me more attractive to getting what I want.
No, that's true.
Yeah. I mean, all of us need to work on it to some extent. Uh,
Now,
because
how did you like what steps did you take to 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 get out of this people pleasing mode?
so honestly, I'm not totally out of it yet, but I really want to. I think that's the first step, to understand that why you have to come out of it. And exactly this is what we have been talking about, that we need to come out of it because this. And I think I have you too agree to it now, that we need to be active participants in our life.
Yeah.
Uh, Once you recognize this, I think the best way is to start writing down what you want, so that you are yourself clear about your own personality, your own needs, your own desires. and see how much of it can be achieved on your own. Maybe there are 50% of your list is something that needs work on your part, but you have never created that list. So you never know how will you ever work towards it, because you are not aware of your own needs. So I think the best way is to start by writing down, which works for me because I am a very pen and paper sort of a person. So yeah, once you have your goals, your needs, your desires in front of you, the next steps would be either to pray for them or to work towards them. And I think you should be doing both.
Not
there's
everything is
there's a
in
very
your
old
control, right?
Yeah, there's a very old saying which I'm just reminded of right now. God helps those who help themselves.
True.
Yeah, and it's so basic. I mean, we have been saying this for all our lives now, and it is just that.
Exactly. If you just sit down on the couch and don't ask for anything and just expect to get things, ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, and when we are clear about our own beliefs, I think it makes us more stronger from inside. When we know what we want, we are clear about it, we are confident about it. It gives us that sense of courage to ask for it, and perhaps that is how you really earn things.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah,
I'll start by doing that, by writing down. So what
good.
do you need? I think that's the key. That's a key takeaway that I take. Like, what do you need first? I think it's very important to
Right, and I
build
think
some
that's the
awareness.
that's I think that's exactly the power of receiving. Of course, there's an art of receiving, which is about being open minded, being fully present, being gracious, being vulnerable. But besides that, recognizing your needs, earning what you want, and being attractive towards the giver. These are some things that define the true power of receiving, make you powerful as a receiver.
Powerful as a receiver. I like that one. Lots of both. I think the practical ones and also like belief-wise challenges as well in this
Hmm.
topic. But I will start by for myself. I'll work on accepting things better, receiving things better, but also realizing what I need and then asking for it with the intention to not force things, but
Hmm.
to the giver,
Hmm.
allow the giver to give smoother, easier, and with more ease and more satisfaction, happiness. I'm talking about both
Yes.
people and the universe right now. So it's mixed up, but it's pretty
Yes.
much the same thing in this point for me.
Right. Absolutely, I agree. And that's how we create our a healthy mind, a healthy body, healthy spirit. And also we by this is actually a key that unlocks the door to your hopes and dreams and goals.
Exactly. Well, lots of takeaways, but thank you, Hannah. I think it was great for me to discuss this topic. And well, all the listeners, I say like just think about it today. Think about it for yourself. what situations that you've been in, and what have you when have you blocked yourself because you were not receiving, or you were not ready to receive and you were not asking for it? And what can you do next time? And what can you do now? So I want everyone just think about this one for a while, because I think it's a very, very crucial topic that not only you and me, but I think pretty much everyone out there has some question marks, has some challenges with this one. So many people are people pleasing. I think it's become such a norm here. We are grown up like that. This is perfectly normal, and
Hmm.
I think it comes with practice.
Totally. Thank you so much,
Right.
Ozan.
Thank you
Thank
very much,
you.
Anna.
This was a wonderful session, very insightful for me, and I hope it is the same for our listeners. Drop in your comments, your feedback, your questions, whatever you have,
Yes,
and we'd be happy to answer them.
I got a comment that in every single episode I have a different haircut. So I proved it correct this time, and I'm going to the hairdresser tomorrow. So I'm like a girl. Thank you for the comment.
All right.
All right. Thank you, Hannah. Thanks to all listeners. See you soon.
Bye bye. Take care and see you soon.